Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. You feel the room shift the moment your dignity wavers. A careless comment, a smirk, a subtle dismissal. They are not minor blips. They are arrows aimed at your throne. In that instant, respect is not granted. It is contested, seized in a silent yet bloody duel. The enemy stands not across the table but within the hesitation to strike back. The instinct to shrink when the heat is on. That weakness is your true adversary. Hesitate, and you yield your crown. Every gathering, every meeting, is an invisible battlefield. The inbox left unanswered, the deflected gaze, the muffled voice in a crowded room, they are not accidents. They are the silent artillery of disrespect. Each unnoticed whisper, each skipped greeting, is a siege on your presence. What does it cost when the throne of your reputation becomes bored, unruly, unclaimed? You walk into that room, and the crown rides on your confidence. If your mind falters, the crown tilts, and the room tests your mettle. Disrespect waits in the shadows for the slightest crack. It doesn't shout, it seeps in. Your enemy thrives when you hesitate, when your spine curves under the weight of uncertain breath. Every second of hesitation is a surrender, allowing the quiet coup of doubt and dismissal. Do not tolerate that. Command the room before it has a chance to act. Let your presence be the drumbeat before the battle, the stillness that precedes the predator's leap. Respond with the force of certainty. Strike back with measured intensity. Let your calmness sharpen like a blade glinting in the dusk. Remember this: power is not a gift, it is claimed. Respect is not offered, it is imposed. Now stand firm and untouchable. Let the world learn that any assault on your respect will be met with ferocity. Respect is seized or lost. A wise ruler should rely on what is under his own control, not on what is under the control of others. Machiavelli's words echo like a war horn. Before you can command respect from the world, you must first take the throne of your mind. You stand at the edge of your battlefield, your thoughts. The throne of your identity wobbles when doubt occupies the crown seat. If you believe in yourself last, you'll never be taken seriously by anyone else. Your inner authority is the foundation of respect. Without it, every external challenge chips away at your core until you collapse. Within this throne room, insecurity is your most dangerous traitor, a whispering court of doubt that sows fear and hesitation. Those mental voices begin small. I'm not ready. They won't listen. I don't belong. They gather like conspirators, plotting betrayal from within. Unless silenced, their poison seeps into your posture, your voice, your choices. It's a quiet revolution, one you never authorized, that strips you of your crown before you've even started. But you can build fortress walls around your mind. Each act of discipline, every challenge you survive, reinforces your ramparts. Modern psychology calls this self-efficacy, the belief you can act decisively in the face of real threats. It means viewing setbacks as sieges you withstand, not as collapse you succumb to. As you prove yourself, brick by brick, your mental fortress grows. Others perceive it, they feel the weight of your authority and respond accordingly. Imagine entering a room where light strikes that throne inside your mind, and the air shifts. The crown doesn't gleam for display, it radiates command. You don't wait for validation, you assert it before a single word leaves your mouth. That throne stands not on fragile claims or borrowed power, but on unshakable belief. Command your own mind as if your life depends on it, because it does. Crush the court of doubt with clear truth. You are capable. You are worthy. You are prepared. Build your inner walls through small victories, mastering a morning routine, owning your voice, doing what scares you. These are not symbolic. They are your fields of conquest. Stand firm. Let your mind be the throne from which all of your power flows. Uncertainty is the invader. Silence it. Let doubt kneel. Rule your mind or be ruled. A morning well ruled is a day conquered. It's not Machiavelli's exact phrasing, but it captures a timeless truth he lived. The first battle of the day decides everything that follows. Every dawn is a battlefield. Before the sun even paints the sky, the war for your power begins. History's greatest leaders understood this. Marcus Aurelius, forced to drag himself out of bed despite that being his serious fault, would remind himself, "I am rising to the work of a human being." That simple discipline transformed his mornings into demonstrations of inner resolve. He didn't wake and drift, he rose and commanded. By contrast, hitting snooze is a retreat. It tells the world and your own soul that you lack the hunger to lead. In today's world, that morning hesitation bleeds across your entire day. You stall productivity, betray discipline, and signal to everyone, your rivals, your colleagues, even yourself, that you can be pushed back into bed. But imagine forging a ritual that turns dawn into a declaration of war. You wake before distraction. You sharpen your senses with intent. You ground yourself with a moment of stillness or a brutal cold shower. You move with purpose, whether it's the steady pace of a run or the racing pulse after a challenge met head-on. These are not soft suggestions. They are strategic strikes in the opening skirmish of your day. Every small victory counts. Making your bed, moving first, speaking before being spoken to. Each is a pledge of order over chaos. Modern examples are everywhere. Tim Cook wakes before 4 a.m., forging clarity through discipline. Jack Dorsey charges into a cold shower and 5-mile run before the world stirs. You may not run Fortune 500 companies, but you share their battlefield life itself. A morning victory radiates. Others feel it. They sense your authority before you say a word. They sense your readiness in your posture, your clarity in your voice. And in that quiet moment, you command. You don't wait for respect. You declare it. So rise before the crowd. Sculpt your dawn with ritual, with ferocity. Attack the day like it's your enemy, because if you don't seize it, it will seize you. Turn your waking into a province of your power. Let every morning be a conquest nobody forgets. Win the whoever conquers through force, conquers by deceit. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Machiavelli crafted this in The Prince, pairing predator metaphors to prove that power lies in combining presence with strategy, stillness with strike. Imagine the lion on the African savannah, immobile yet lethal. He doesn't charge, he waits. Every muscle lies coiled, every breath measured. His stillness is not weakness. It is the announcement of the strike. The eagle, perched high with wings folded, watches the valley breathe, then descends with quiet inevitability. These beasts understand that dominance is not in motion, but in calculation. In today's world, noise reigns. Social media swells with constant motion. Tweets chase likes. Chatter drowns out thought. In that chaos, a pause stands out like a sharpened blade. When you stay silent, you disarm the room. Your calm unsettles others. They expect fluster. What they get is clarity. In a world of shouting, silence is the predator's trap. Picture a meeting where everyone speaks at once. Opinions clash, voices raise, then you speak or don't. You pause, let seconds stretch. Others scramble to fill the void, to react. That pause is your weapon. You control the rhythm. You force the room to adjust to you. This is not hypothetical, it's a battlefield tactic. The predator's gaze, the patient stillness, the timed pause, all map to real command. You don't need volume. You need presence. Command the silence before you command the room. Let your stillness signal strategy, not hesitation. Pause before you speak. Let that moment speak for you. Let the room bow to your calm. Stillness is strength. Dawn or lose the day. A prince ought to eliminate an old ruling family entirely. Destroy them, don't merely wound them. Machiavelli's ruthless strategy sets the stage. To command respect, you must purge weakness without mercy. You walk into your world surrounded by shadows, distractions, weak links, half-hearted commitments. They whisper dissent, dilute your authority, and compromise your throne. Machiavelli admired rulers who struck decisively, who removed threats in one sweeping motion. Hesitation is your greatest vulnerability. Every weak tie left intact is a silent revolt brewing in your ranks. When you tolerate disrespect by association, you invite impotence, holding on to unreliable relationships, colleagues who underperform, friends who drain your energy, habits that betray your mission, signals to the world you can tolerate weakness, and the world treats you accordingly. In modern life, this might look like keeping toxic people close for comfort or keeping bad habits because they're familiar. Whatever the form, weakened associations, weaken respect. But there's power in ruthless cuts. Discipline sharpens your presence. Every time you eliminate an excuse, crush hesitation, or kill a distraction, you sharpen your edge. Your aura becomes steel. You stand taller. You think clearer. The room senses it. You're not just present, you're unavoidable. This isn't hypothetical, it plays out in every life. Say you finally quit the endless scrolling that kills your mornings and steals your focus. You replace that with a 30-minute reading ritual. Suddenly, your mind is bright. You finish tasks that stalled before sunrise. People notice you become the benchmark. Command the destruction. Excuse what's dragging you down. Cut the weak ties, the draining habits, the creeping doubt. Attack with precision. Your discipline must be surgical. When hesitation surfaces, strike it down. When an excuse forms, eradicate it. When a distraction approaches, slaughter it. Build your throne on strength alone. Let your presence, refined and sharpened, do the commanding, but know that begins with your ruthless elimination of what dims you. Cut the weak, rule the rest. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few perceive what you are. Machiavelli's words slice through pretense. Leadership is crafted, not revealed. You wear the mask before you rule the room. Great leaders throughout history understood the power of a carefully forged persona. Julius Caesar commanded Rome, not through revealing his thoughts, but by embodying authority. He rarely smiled, projecting a hardened resolve that unsettled even his closest rivals. His mask wasn't deception, it was strategy. You too must don your visage of command before the audience forms its judgments. In our modern arena, image shapes reality. In boardrooms, on social feeds, in how others perceive you. It's the image that moves mountains, not the unfiltered truth. Companies manage their brand. Politicians sculpt their persona. Influencers engineer their presence. When you sculpt your image as one of precision, strength, and calm control, you don't just project power, you impose it. Your mask becomes your sword and shield. Then there's the armor of mystery. When your inner strategy remains unseen, people lean in. They fill your silences with their assumptions. They misjudge, they speculate, and in that haze of uncertainty, you dominate. Mystery is not weakness. It commands attention. It forces respect. It makes others cautious. You become the enigma that holds the battlefield of perception. Command your mask like a weapon. Sharpen your image with intention. Wear clarity in your posture, firmness in your words, and concealment in your intentions. Let your stillness carry power. Let your presence speak before your voice enunciates strategy. Thoughtless candor is the path to collapse. Calculated persona is the ascension. You don't reveal the throne's size, you sit on it. You don't show your hand, you play it. You don't invite them in. You tower over them, inscrutable and sovereign. Dominate unseen or be dominated. Where great things are to be done, the bold plan should be followed by bold execution. Machiavelli's words cut deeper than steel. Every respected leader harbors an inner assassin, the part that strikes when the throne trembles. You stand poised, not behind enemy lines, but within your own mind. History's great sovereigns enforced respect with decisive acts. Machiavelli praised Oliverotto da Fermo, who seized power in one ruthless strike by eliminating all enemies at a banquet, leaving no threat standing. That act bought him the throne, however, briefly, because swift, absolute decision kills doubt and breeds fear. The lesson is clear: respect doesn't follow hesitation, it bows to strength. In your life, the targets may not be people, they are more insidious: procrastination, excuses, self-pity. These are assassins of potential. They lurk in your routines, waiting for the slightest lapse to strike. Today, they whisper that one more delay costs nothing. Yet, every moment surrendered to weakness is a forfeited battle. If you allow them to define your rhythm, respect slips through your fingers like smoke. But you are not passive. You are the silent executioner of your own excuses. You strike procrastination at wake-up, murder self-pity by pushing through discomfort, eliminate excuses by honoring your commitments. Each time you seize control, you reinforce your authority. You don't ask for respect, you command it through relentless internal conquest. You must also cloak yourself in calculated fear. Respect is not built on warmth, but on unmistakable capacity. Let them sense that you hold the blade, not by waving it wildly, but by the certainty in your eyes. You don't threaten, you imply. That implication is enough. It reframes how others move around you. It positions you as the figure no one dares to test. Seize your targets with precision. Strike procrastination at its root when the first doubt surfaces, and silence it with action. Crush excuses with unyielding discipline. Kill self-pity with resolve. Let every eradicated weakness sharpen your presence until your aura hums with authority. Imagine entering the day like a hidden blade, calm, unseen, inevitable. You are not noisy. You are lethal. You do not need to declare war. Your existence is the declaration. You are the assassin in your own story. Execute with conviction. Strike without hesitation. It is much safer to be feared than loved. If one must choose, Machiavelli's words cut through centuries, and they echo here. Respect is not given for softness. It is maintained through strength. And strength must be fed, or it dies. Picture the wolf pack. In the frozen wilderness, the alpha does not sit on his throne because of affection. He holds his place because he proves daily that his teeth are sharper, his endurance greater, his hunger stronger. The pack bows not to kindness, but to his undeniable power. That is the law of the wild. And it is the same law that governs human respect. If you do not feed the wolf within you, the sheep inside begins to grow fat and lazy, and others will sense it. The world does not respect dormant potential. It respects the warrior who trains while others sleep, the strategist who sharpens his mind when others are distracted, the leader whose body, discipline, and skills all signal command without needing words. Your mornings, your routines, your training, these are not hobbies, they are battlegrounds. Every push-up, every page read, Every disciplined act is a growl from the wolf in your chest. People may not see the hours, but they feel the aura it creates. Discipline radiates. It is the scent of strength that makes others instinctively defer. But every time you indulge weakness, every snooze button, every wasted hour, every excuse, you are not just delaying progress, you are feeding the sheep. You are giving power to submission. And once the sheep grows louder than the wolf, you no longer command respect, you beg for it. Imagine standing before your enemies with a soft frame, a distracted mind, and hollow words. They will not kneel. They will laugh. To feed the wolf, you must starve the sheep. This means cutting off indulgence at its root. Deny yourself unnecessary comforts. Choose hardship as training. Say no to the things that weaken your edge. The wolf grows hungrier with every act of discipline, hungrier and more dangerous, until even your silence commands respect. Understand this. Respect is not a crown you win once and wear forever. It is meat thrown daily to the beast inside you. If you do not feed it, you lose it. Just as the alpha wolf must continue to prove himself with every challenge, you too must reassert your dominance through your habits, your actions, your relentless self-mastery. So feed the wolf. Train your body until it becomes a weapon. Train your mind until hesitation fears you. Train your spirit until no temptation can break you. Let them see in your eyes that you are not tame, that beneath your calm exterior prowls something dangerous. The world respects hunger. It bows to those who refuse to go soft. Feed the wolf, starve the sheep. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. Machiavelli understood what many still refuse to see. Life itself is a chessboard, and every move is a battle for position. Respect does not fall into your hands by accident. It is seized by calculation, by foresight, by outmaneuvering those who move blindly. Think of the great strategists of history. They did not win by chance or emotion. They won because they saw the board as a whole, while others only stared at the single piece before them. Machiavelli taught that rulers who reacted impulsively lost their thrones, but those who plotted 3 moves ahead created empires. The difference between respected kings and forgotten men was not strength alone, it was strategy. Now look at your own life. You step into meetings, relationships, negotiations, and whether you notice it or not, a silent game is already being played. Every word, every pause, every gesture is a piece moved across the board. When you speak too soon, when you reveal too much, you surrender your queen. When you wait, when you calculate, when you strike with precision, others feel your power without you needing to boast. Modern life is saturated with this unspoken chess. Promotions are won not just by performance, but by positioning. Friendships and alliances are shaped not just by trust, but by leverage. Respect flows toward those who hold the higher ground, the ones who see beyond the obvious. The weak play checkers. They look only at the immediate move, hungry for instant gratification. They chase applause, validation, and quick wins, and then wonder why they are forgotten. The strong play chess. They sacrifice the pawn today to trap the king tomorrow. Sometimes you must allow yourself to lose a battle, to step back, to appear humble, not because you are defeated, but because you are building a position from which you cannot be ignored. That sacrifice, invisible to the untrained eye, is the mark of true power. So you must ask yourself, are you playing the game or being played? Do you enter rooms calculating, or are you walking in blind? Respect will never be given to the one who scrambles in panic. It will always be given to the one whose eyes scan the entire board, whose patience unsettles, whose confidence comes not from luck but from preparation. Every time you open your mouth, think 3 moves ahead. Every decision, every alliance, every risk must be weighed, not only for today, but for what it sets up tomorrow. Become the strategist. Become the one others hesitate to cross, because they know you have already seen the trap waiting for them. Life is the chessboard. Respect is the throne. Strategy is the weapon. Think 3 moves ahead. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Machiavelli's words cut deeper than steel, because they reveal the truth most men hide from. The greatest battlefield is not the world outside you. It is the war inside your own mind. Respect does not bow to the one who talks loudest or dresses sharpest. It bows to the one whose will is iron, whose habits are forged in fire, whose very presence radiates an aura of unbreakable resolve. Look back at history. The Spartans carved their names into eternity not because they had the most soldiers, but because their discipline made them immovable walls of flesh and spirit. The samurai lived by ritual, sharpening their minds through meditation and their bodies through endless repetition until death itself was not a fear but a companion. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, proved that the man who governs his desires and endures his suffering stands higher than kings who rule empires, yet cannot rule themselves. These figures were feared, respected, and immortalized because their daily rituals made them unshakable. Now, bring this into your world. You live in an age of distraction, indulgence, and softness. The masses scroll their lives away, feeding weakness one click at a time. But you must be different. Every small ritual you adopt becomes steel added to your armor. Cold showers that shock your body into awareness, brutal workouts that harden your flesh against fatigue, journaling that turns chaos into clarity. These are not casual habits. They are your weapons, your daily forge, where your will is hammered until it gleams. The world can sense it. People may not see the shower or the page or the sweat, but they will feel the aura it builds around you. Because here is the truth. Pain is baptism. Respect flows naturally to the one who embraces discomfort with a steady gaze. Most flee from pain, but the few who endure it walk as giants among men. Imagine 2 warriors entering an arena. One has lived in comfort, fed by ease. The other has trained in hardship, broken his body in fire, and risen again each dawn with discipline. Who do you think commands respect before even raising a sword? The aura of the second bends the air itself, so you must build rituals that remind you daily. Comfort is poison, discipline is life. Wake with precision, not laziness. Seek challenge, not escape. Train your mind to say no when the world says yes. Every time you conquer yourself, your will grows sharper. Every time you choose strength over ease, you take the throne that others abandoned. Remember this: no empire can stand on shaky foundations, and no man can command respect with a fragile will. You are the architect of your own fortress, brick by brick, by ritual, until nothing shakes you, nothing bends you, nothing breaks you. Respect is not given to the loud. It is given to the unmovable. It is drawn almost magnetically to the one who radiates silent power because he has been baptized by ritual and fire. Build iron habits, forge an iron will. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Machiavelli's truth reveals the highest level of power, untouchability. To be untouchable is not to live without enemies, but to stand so far above their reach that their claws cannot graze your throne. Respect at this level becomes automatic, because even those who plot against you bow in silence before your aura. History has shown us the blueprint. Marcus Aurelius, besieged by war and plague, stood untouchable because his will could not be broken. Rome looked to him not just as emperor, but as philosopher king. a man whose calm in chaos became his shield, Genghis Khan, a name still whispered with awe and fear, built such dominance that rival rulers surrendered before battle even began. They understood what Machiavelli meant when he wrote that it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Untouchables carried both in their arsenal: fear to keep wolves away, admiration to bind loyalty in steel. But this power is not a relic of ancient empires. Today you live in a battlefield just as ruthless, only hidden under the mask of civility. Your untouchability is forged not with swords, but with shields of modern steel. Financial independence frees you from bowing to masters. Reputation management ensures that attacks bounce off your armor because you have already defined the story they try to twist. Emotional control makes you invincible because no insult, betrayal, or crisis can shake the fortress of your mind. When others rage, you remain calm. When others panic, you move with precision. That contrast alone commands respect because it proves you are built of harder material than the rest. Imagine the moment your enemies hesitate. They want to strike, but something stops them. A doubt, a fear, the unspoken recognition that you will not fall. Imagine allies looking up, drawn not by desperation but by gravity, because your aura is a force field. This is the untouchable state, when attacks lose their sting, when respect flows from both rivals and followers alike. To reach this level, you must build layers of armor. Train discipline until your habits cannot be broken. Fortify your mind until insults sound like whispers against a storm. Protect your resources until no one controls your survival. Every move must be made as if you are constructing an empire, brick by brick, shield by shield. You cannot beg for this respect. You cannot buy it. You must earn it by becoming the person others cannot shake, cannot bend, cannot dethrone. When your presence radiates both danger and stability, when your silence weighs more than another man's roar, then you have ascended to the throne Machiavelli spoke of. Respect is power. Untouchability is immortality. Stand above. Stay untouchable. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Machiavelli's most infamous line was not a call to cruelty, but a declaration of sovereignty. For the final crown is not a jewel placed on your head by others. It is forged into your very flesh. Until your existence itself radiates authority, respect ceases to be something you chase. It becomes the air around you, the invisible throne you carry into every room, the battlefield you already dominate before the first sword is drawn. The crown is not given. It is not borrowed. It is not passed down. It is fused, and once fused, it cannot be removed. History has proven this truth in every age. The great sovereigns and warriors of the past did not rely on chance or fleeting moments of victory. They cultivated mastery of mind, presence and discipline until their aura itself became untouchable. Alexander the Great, in his 20s, commanded empires larger than men, twice his age, because his very presence dissolved hesitation. Marcus Aurelius ruled not just as emperor, but as a philosopher whose calm became a fortress stronger than Rome's walls. Genghis Khan united scattered tribes into an unstoppable empire because his reputation, built through fear, respect, and relentless strategy, traveled farther than his armies. This is the convergence of strategy and aura. When discipline sharpens the blade, when mystery cloaks your moves, when presence alone dictates the flow of the battlefield, you are not merely playing the game anymore. You have become the board, the predator, and the throne itself. This is the predator king archetype. You no longer pursue respect. It bends to your gravity. Think of the lion on the savannah. He does not beg the herd to acknowledge him. He does not announce his authority. His silence is thunder. His stillness is command. His existence warps the choices of everything around him. This is what you must become, a center of inevitability. Respect is no longer something you demand or defend. It circles you as planets orbit the sun, because your will is now the axis on which the world around you spins. But beware, the stakes are eternal. To fail in this final ascent is not a minor loss. Failure means exile into the wastelands of obscurity, where your name vanishes and your presence dissolves into dust. History remembers the sovereigns, not the pretenders. The battlefield is littered with the bones of those who sought the crown, but lacked the steel to fuse it into their being. Yet mastery grants you the opposite fate, a throne that outlives flesh, a legacy that survives time itself. Think of the names still spoken centuries later: Caesar, Aurelius, Khan, Machiavelli. Their crowns were not ornaments, they were identities. In the modern world, your crown is no less real. Respect is not measured only in titles or thrones of stone, but in the aura you radiate in every sphere of life. Financial sovereignty frees you from dependence. Emotional mastery makes you a fortress no insult can breach. Strategic thinking elevates you above impulsive crowds. Discipline ensures that every move is deliberate, every strike precise. In an age of noise, the man who walks with silent certainty is the man who dominates. Understand this: once the crown is fused to your being, you are no longer a contender. You are the standard. Others measure themselves against you. Enemies calculate their odds in your shadow. Allies rise because your gravity pulls them higher, and when you leave this world, your aura echoes, whispered in the same breath as those immortal rulers who carved their names into eternity. The final crown is not won by accident. It is built brick by brick, strike by strike, by ritual. You must master yourself until no weakness remains. You must command your environment until chaos bows before order. You must fuse predator and king until people sense your dominance without a single word spoken. This is the transformation. Not a man chasing respect, but a sovereign who embodies it. Not a seeker of crowns, but the living throne itself. You are no longer playing for recognition. You are playing for immortality. Fuse the crown, become the throne. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Machiavelli's warning cuts through time like a blade. Without respect, every crown is counterfeit. You can dress like a king, speak like a leader, surround yourself with wealth and noise, but if no one bows to your presence, you remain a pawn dressed in borrowed robes. This is the cost of surrender. To live without respect is to move across life's chessboard as a disposable piece, sacrificed at the will of stronger players. You follow orders, not issue them. You ask permission, not command authority. Every moment you hesitate, every time you choose comfort over command, you quietly hand over your crown, and the world has no mercy for pawns who refuse to rise. But when you seize command, the rewards are undeniable. With respect, doors swing open that remain locked to others. Your name travels farther than your footsteps. Enemies measure their attacks twice before daring to move. Allies align themselves eagerly at your side, not out of pity or obligation, but because your gravity pulls them into orbit, even in silence. You dictate the tempo of the room. Your presence becomes a currency more valuable than gold, one that buys loyalty, obedience, and influence. Think of the modern battlefield you face daily. The meeting room, the negotiation table, the arena of social status. In every space, people search for the figure who carries command. If you shrink, you are ignored. If you rise, you are followed. The world does not wait for you to be ready. The throne is always contested. You must choose, command or be commanded. There is no middle ground. Respect is not a gift. It is a conquest. It belongs only to those who seize it, guard it, and wield it without apology. You cannot half rule. You either wear the crown or you bow before it. So engrave the mantra into your mind until it becomes unshakable steel. Respect is the throne. I am its rightful ruler. Say it until hesitation dies. Say it until weakness flees. Say it until the crown fuses into your very being. Rule your mind, and the world bows.